Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Welcome and thank you for stopping by. It is fantastic that you are here. It really is. Well, I trust you enjoyed my recent little two-part video series on the 1930s world's best entertainer, Al Jolson. And certainly in the last video, I looked at his influence from many people who have found him significant in their own music careers. And I also went on to say that, we can all make positive differences in our own small parts of the world. This is something that people such as Al Jolson can inspire us to do. Well, we go from there to a bunch of guys, and Dewey Bunnell, Dan Peake, and Jerry Beckley. And while they were in London, posted with their parents as part of the US Air Force, they formed the band America in 1970. Now, it's quite strange when you think that the band America was formed in London. I think that's quite hilarious, really. But apparently the name was inspired by an Americana jukebox that was in the mess hall of the base that they were actually stationed in. So there we go. I suppose because these guys actually were from the US, even though they were stationed in London, they kind of still called America home. And that's what so they came up with the name America. I find this name quite compelling, and I'll get onto that in a minute. There have been other bands. There's a band called Asia and a band called Europe, and there's a song called Africa. But not many bands call themselves after countries. Between 1971 and 2020, they've released 20 studio albums, 10 live albums, 16 compilation albums. When you had the string of hits that these guys have had, compilation albums is a part of the deal. 47 singles, 5 of which have come to #1. Now, these guys received 2 Grammy Awards in 1973 for Best New Artist and things like that. They were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2006, and they received the Hollywood Star on the Walk of Fame in 2006 as well. So these guys have found quite a lot of success in their career. And the thing I love about these guys is, even though they're called America, and you can think, oh, that's a little bit of a thing, calling yourselves that, I think what they've done through particularly some songs which I'll get on to a minute, they've captured the mythology of America, the thing that makes America mysterious at times, the wide open landscapes, the long road trips, the canyons, the deserts, the forests, everything that makes America the compelling place that it actually is. Sure, there are a lot of people living there, but there's also plenty of wide open spaces as well. And if you just imagine like the wild buffalo roaming over the prairies over there, that's the kind of image we're talking about. We're talking about a land that is full of opportunity, a land that is still full of wide open spaces. And certainly the place that America has in the world, the influence that it has in the world, there's something just quite compelling about the mythology of the United States of America. Now, unfortunately, Dan Peake, he actually left the band in 1977. He went on to do a solo career, and he died in 2011. So, that was a little bit sad. He never did come back to the fold of America, and so that very much left Dewey Bunnell and Jerry Beckley to pretty well carry on the American tradition through some of these incredible songs. Now, when I think of America too, we think about iconic road trips in the US. We think about Highway 51, We think about the road trip that goes through the desert to Las Vegas. We think about these wide open spaces. And the thing to me that America really, I suppose, brings to the fore, particularly with a couple of their songs, Ventura Highway, it would be one, and A Horse with No Name, is this concept of journey. This concept of going somewhere, this concept of not being so hell-bent on where we're headed that we don't enjoy the journey as we go. There's something, as I've said a few times before, there's something quite cool about hanging on to life a little bit loosely, because often it is in these unexpected moments that life thinks, oh, well, that's really interesting, that's really cool. Um, I was really surprised by that. If we're so focused on our goals, we can miss all that stuff. We really can. And it's often in these moments that life really has meaning. I think what America is trying to do in a couple of their songs, I might as well talk about them now. Ventura Highway, I mean, at the minute you even think about those words, you just imagine a road trip through rugged country. And not necessarily knowing where you're going. You just know you're kind of heading in a general direction, but very much the journey is all about what you discover along the way. You know, the quirky pub that you might pull in for a meal, the community you might hang around with for a couple of days. There's something quite corny and quirky but beautiful about the freedom that a song like this images brings to your head. Ventura Highway very much is life discovering as we go. And they're probably their breakthrough single, A Horse with No Name. Now these words are so mysterious and so unusual. You know, I've been through a desert with a horse with no name, and you know, my skin turned to red, and it all started off beautiful, but my skin turned to red, and all the rest of it. Again, I think what this song is actually saying. Now, there are a few interpretations of this song, and I'll leave that one up to you to look up. But what I'm thinking is we have basically a journey without a particular purpose. It's just a journey. It's on a horse with no name. There's something quite compelling about lyrics like these ones. They get us to think about our own life journeys. They get us to think about where we might be headed. And where we're headed, is that actually the best place to go? If we're so focused on where we're headed, are we missing out on the stuff that happens day by day? Songs like this one really challenge us to look at that, to look at life as not just a set of events, but it's a journey that we go through. It's a journey that will have green, lush times. It's a journey which will have dark and desolate times as well. This is the way that life is. But I think the thing that we can take from all of that is the fact that it is a journey. And that's the overriding thing about our lives, is the fact it's a journey. And we may find ourselves in places that we don't like at times. But life is a journey. And just like the horse has no name, we don't always know where the journey will take us. We just know that it's going to take us somewhere. And I think for me, I would much prefer to have a little bit of unknown going forward. Not necessarily knowing what's going to happen, because leaving life a little bit open to see where it takes me, as opposed to me being so controlling of it. And I think the great thing about journeys is that we do them with other people. And, you know, the last thing we want to do is be prescriptive about how other people's journeys are. I think there's something quite magical about going on a mystery journey together. Not necessarily knowing where it's going, but just sharing the excitement and the surprise of it, the wonder of it, as opposed to being absolutely needing to know everything that needs to happen beforehand. This is what songs like this one are actually doing. Life is a journey, life is a highway, life is on a horse with no name. We're going to go through all sorts of places in our lives, and to realize that in the scheme of things, it's a journey that we go through. We can look forward to our days with a bit of excitement and a bit of wonder. Let's keep the wonder, guys, in our lives. Recently, the Bethlehem star has emerged in the western skies here. Supposedly, it's the blending of Saturn and Jupiter together. Those two stars have aligned, and it's creating, what has been called the Bethlehem star. Which, interestingly, we're in Christmas right at the moment. It kind of all goes along with that theme a little bit. But you know what? It's just a big light in the sky, right? But when you think about it, even if it's small, the fact that Jupiter and Saturn have aligned is an amazing, wonderful thing. It really, really is. Life is full of wonder. Life is full of surprises. Life is full of things that are unexpected. And that is often the times when life really becomes interesting. That is for sure. It could be that you need to take steps to rediscover that life again. It could be that you might be in a little bit of a rut and you're just going through the motions a bit. Well, no, we as human beings deserve better than that. We deserve to have the wonder and the magic, which is the journey of life. See, if you're right in the middle of a rut right now, you might be in the Christmas holidays thinking, oh, thank goodness that year's over. Well, I think we're all thinking that at the moment a little bit. But, oh man, I don't want to go back to work when work starts again. Think about what that is saying to you. And if it is that you need to make a change to discover the wonder of life again, well, perhaps these songs today are providing us with an opportunity to think about that a bit more. So good on you to Dewey and Jerry, who carried on America's legacy, and Dan in the initial stages for writing these incredible songs, mysterious songs that get us to think. And the best songs in the world actually do that. They leave a bit of mystery and a bit of space for us to think for ourselves. Well, I trust that will all be an encouragement for you today. Well, on to the clips. And yeah, we have to have Ventura Highway. That came off the 1972 album Homecoming, and that was actually their second album out of the 20 studio albums they've had. We then also got to have A Horse with No Name. This was America's debut single, and it came, believe it or not, off their first 1971 self-titled album. So the songwriting pedigree was really, really there right from the start. That's what makes these guys so incredible and legendary almost. And so that's a live version of that one. And yes, these guys, they're looking a bit older here, but you can actually see the reason why they were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame. Their vocal delivery is stunning. And this soft rock genre, which these guys are in, I'm discovering a lot of acts are actually in this genre. It requires incredible vocal delivery, incredible harmonies, normally acoustic guitars with fiddling going on there, all the elements that make soft rock such the compelling, thought-provoking genre that it is. America really, really capitalizes and is the epitome of the soft rock genre. And so, because these guys have been around for a while, but then they had a bit of a resurgence in the 80s, and in 1982 with the album View from the Ground, the song You Can Do Magic. That is a live version. You can just see how the sound has just continued to emerge and continued to progress. Such is the journey of the band America. And it's great to see that these guys are actually still going, because they did release an album in 2020. Timeless bands like this one, I'm thinking, probably never really finish. I think They go through their various journey phases, but they just keep going because there's something timeless that people still want to hear. So all the links to those 3 songs, 3 live songs today actually. I did look at the Horse with No Name official clip and I thought, nah, it's not quite right. I think so. I've gone for the live version of that one instead. They're all in the description below. And if I do ever forget to say that, that's where they're always going to be. I never embed videos into my videos. I just put links below instead. So they're all there for you to have a look at, any of those or one of those, whatever you'd like to do. And also note, I have a video link to my commentary from last time on Al Jolson. So if you want to recap on that one, feel free to do that. Well, if you've come back for another video, thank you very, very much for doing so. And if you're here for the first time trying to work out what this Life Reflections through Music is all about, really, really welcome to you. All I'm doing is I'm just trying to encourage us in our life journeys, and the incredible songs that we have certainly provide an opportunity to do that. And if you've hung around to the end, really, really fantastic. The encouragement always is that if you do click on one of my videos, please watch it to the end, because there's some stuff that we go through which you might find interesting. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to the band American Authors. So until then, I'll catch you around.